except for our quarterback. Can I say one thing?
You can say whatever you want. You're fashionably late.
The left lane when you're driving is a passing lane. It is not
I've heard that.
a drive lane, go 20 miles an hour or whatever. It is a passing lane. If you are not going to go above the speed limit by 5 to 10 miles an hour, please get out of the left lane. And if you are in the left lane doing the speed limit and someone goes to pass you on the right lane who wants to go faster than you, do not speed up.
Life lessons and driving lessons from Will Havanas. And this has been the traffic segment of the East of the Bend podcast.
Yeah.
That's fun. Well, yesterday, it's funny you mentioned bad driving and traffic and stuff because so I went up to Jerry's house and so it's like 25 on a weird stretch of Westerville. And I get it. That's slow. Driving 25 sucks.
That is slow.
It is slow. And it goes on for like a while. And but this woman in front of me decided that 12 was the appropriate. And when I say 12, I'm not being an asshole. Like, no, it was 12 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's when you can't even let your foot off the gas. You have to ride the brake.
Right.
Because your car wants to go faster.
Exactly. You have about the same truck I do. So, yeah. So, yeah, what's up, Facebook Live? We're here. Will's in the house. Just as you heard, a little bit of traffic issues. So this is going to be our kind of mashup show here. We're going to do, we'll call Coach Aiello in just a little bit, but we're going to talk a little college football, and then since we run a little behind, depending on our timing, we might talk a little bit afterwards, but we got a kind of a big show playing with Coach Aiello. Yeah, lots to talk about, so let's get things kicking.
Oh, look at that. The Browns lose again.
Oh, and they're back.
Yep. Everybody's so excited for them, and good for them.
Sure.
Yeah. But I found it funny. Baker came in and they run up and down the field and score, and everybody's like, "Oh, Baker."
MVP.
Yeah,
MVP.
and now it's kind of like, "Oh, Baker."
Oh, Baker.
Yeah.
Here we go. Not that. Don't press that button. Amateur hour.
And Jacksonville Jaguars, greatest story ever. They're like 3 games into the season, and they're like, well, AFC goes through Jacksonville.
Nope.
And no. Their defense isn't even good anymore.
No, not at all. What is up, East of the Bend listeners? This is the East of the Bend special mashup show. We're going to be doing both our shows just kind of combined today just for timing purposes and for sponsorship obligations. So the East of the Bend podcast is brought to you by Dempsey's Food and Spirits, 346 South High Street in Columbus, Ohio. Game day watch parties every Saturday throughout football season. The official home for Notre Dame football in Columbus. And we are the official podcast of the Notre Dame Fan Club of Columbus. Got my boy here, Will Havanas, who just flew in on his bald eagle wings.
Yeah.
What's up, dude?
What up?
Had a big victory this morning, shutting people down in flag football. Congrats, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, Coach, but
he's on to Cincinnati.
there was a former Ball State wide receiver that I couldn't let catch the game-winning touchdown pass.
We should drag Coach Aiello out there for some.
Yeah,
I know it, right? East of the Bend podcast is also brought to you by, in conjunction with DJ Digital Input, Kent Price. It's not just a funny sign to hold up, I promise. He's a good DJ. Check him out. 973-0817, area code 740. He'll entertain your guests. Anything from a backyard barbecue to, I don't know, you just want to have him over and play some music in your living room. Also, check out the Dos Leprechauns. Jason and Nate out there on the West Coast doing their thing. I don't know if they've done a show lately, but check out their page as well. We'll get Coach Aiello called back in just a little bit, but got to fill in some time with the main show. You know, everybody loves the post-game show and stuff, but the East of the Bend podcast, it still kind of exists. They're more than just Under Armour fleeces. So I We're a little behind. We didn't do a show last week. Notre Dame beat Pitt last week in an ugly, ugly game, 19-14. What can you say? One of the things I wanted to bring up with you, Will, and kind of bring you into this discussion, especially after last night, what happened to the Buckeyes, is just.
Let me start this off with. I didn't really watch the game last night.
You did
the Buckeyes
okay.
game? No.
I cut out a little after halftime because. Go ahead.
I got an opportunity to go shoot St. Charles High School soccer last night.
Yep,
and,
that's right.
So I took that opportunity.
East of the Bend is taken over.
Yeah. A couple of the kids did look, and they're like, East of the Bend. Like I heard them murmur.
That's kind of how Newark Catholic was the first couple weeks we did this. Like, who the hell are these guys?
Yeah. So I didn't really get to watch a lot of the Buckeyes game. And then I think I actually only watched about 15 minutes of it.
Yeah.
But it told me everything I needed to know. This is John Cooper 2.0.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying there. My admission for not watching the game of the night last night, it's not any better. Actually, yours is way better. I was watching UCLA instead. So I know, right? I like UCLA. I don't know. I've always liked them because they play in the Rose Bowl. That sucks me in. Like what a venue, man. I can't imagine that being your home stadium to be able to play in that every single week. I don't know how that doesn't recruit itself. But what I was going to bring up is, Irish win last week, but it was a struggle. Struggle against Pitt, 19-14, and just really got me to thinking. Book played efficiently. He was 26 of 32, 264, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. He looked a little off. But every time Notre Dame plays Pitt, it's just kind of a weird matchup. And Narduzzi threw some things out there, and he exploited some matchups with some corner blitzes and had some exotic defenses. But it got me to thinking, especially after last night, what happened with Purdue and Ohio State, because from what I seen, that matchup was just terrible for Ohio State. The style of it, and it almost got me thinking like jiu-jitsu and fighting and stuff like that, where A beats B, B beats C, but C beats A.
Yeah.
And do you agree with that in football as well?
I do. I will say this much: if you are a top 5, top 10 team, do not go on the road middle of the season and play against a team that has somebody who's dying of some crazy disease.
Because Jesus is going to step in.
Because Jesus is going to step in and you're going to lose. It's happened 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's unfortunate, man. Good for him. A great story, whatnot. I'm not dogging that. But man, I tell you what, that running back for Purdue, good night.
Yeah, but from what I could have swore I heard everybody talking today at football, and they were saying that he had offers from everybody. You pick a college, and they were offering him.
Yeah, it's weird he chose Purdue of all places. I'm not really sure the thought process and all that.
I don't know. I mean, maybe I don't know.
Jeff Brom's. I mean, people love that offense.
When I look at it, if I'm a high school recruit, do I really want to go to Alabama? Do I really want to go to Ohio State? Do I really want to go to, a major top 5 program?
Clemson right now comes to mind.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do I really want to go there? Because am I going to get a chance to shine?
And that's why these programs don't stick around. Look at Miami. Look at Nebraska. Look at Florida. Those are the just 3 off the top of my head that come to mind. Is because, they can only take so many recruits. They said it last night with the middle linebacker from, they said it, I think it was Westerville. And for
Banks.
For
Banks.
Purdue. Yeah. And I don't agree with a lot of what Herb Street says. He's not one of my favorites, but he did say, Urban can't take everybody.
Yeah, you can't. You have to choose. And then half the time, you can't take a 5-star because you want the 3-star that fits your system.
Exactly. We ran into that. Jafar Armstrong comes to mind, the running back at Notre Dame. He's a nice player out of Missouri, 3-star, and then Sebo Flemister was the same way out of Georgia. Everybody's like, well, why'd you take that 3-star? Well, no, he fits the system. He fits what we're trying to do is the issue. And I would rather have that guy. And another one comes to mind is a kid named Malik Van, who was a 4-star guy. And we didn't leave enough offers on the table to go ahead and grab him because he wanted to come. Part of me says, man, 4-star guy, you just got to take him and hope, and fit him in there.
Yeah, but you also kind of have to think that there is a reason why these coaches don't offer these kids. There's something that they see, whether it's they just don't fit the system or they didn't show up all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get to play that team that you wanted to play, you play harder.
Mm-hmm.
You do. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like they're gonna focus on one kid. Okay, this kid last night who played for Purdue who didn't get an offer from Ohio State, and he's from Westerville, and he balls out and he has a great game. And everybody's like, oh, they should have offered him. Where is he every other week?
Right. No. That's a great point.
Or what about the other 35 kids that came out of Ohio that Ohio State didn't offer that they play against who don't show up?
We run into this all the time because Kelly, and it's kind of it kind of drives me nuts, but when you look at the state of Indiana football, it kind of doesn't. But we run into this all the time with Indiana recruits. It always comes up. We recruit so nationally that, sometimes we just don't get guys in Indiana, which a whole other argument. I always feel like as Notre Dame, you should be able to stick a fence around Indiana, and the few that do come out, you have to get them. But whatever, an argument for a different day. But the problem is, we're playing a team, throw out Michigan. Well, this kid was from Indiana, and Kelly couldn't get him. Well, maybe it wasn't he couldn't get him. And is that brought up any other week? Do we talk about that any other week? No, we don't talk about it any other week because it's like, you're right, they do raise the level of their game. And you are going to talk about it if you're Herb Street or you're Chris Fowler because it's that, oh, they're playing each other, Ohio State, this kid's from Ohio.
Yeah, sometimes they raise their game.
Oh, yes.
They never talk about the kids who, Notre Dame doesn't recruit that come out of Indiana that Notre Dame plays, and these kids are sitting on the sidelines as a senior because they're not good enough to start.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's talk about them.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to talk about
or
that.
like, Michigan State comes to mind because they get a lot of the Ohio State, Notre Dame, Michigan guys that don't get recruited. And you hear about it like the Ezekiel Elliott year, I think it was 2015, right? Michigan State beat you guys last-second field goal, correct?
Yeah.
So you hear about it during that game, but the next year, whatever it may be, you guys beat them like 45-7.
Yeah.
I didn't hear much about those Ohio kids that Urban missed on.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't hear it at all. And we missed on a running back. He actually committed to Notre Dame, decommitted, went to USC. When we pounded USC, I really didn't hear much about that kid. So, nope, you just don't hear stuff like that. So Notre Dame escapes. I hear a lot of complaining about how the Irish, they should have played better. They should have did this, should have that. Oh, it's just
yeah, of course they should have played better. I hate that argument.
It's
I'm sorry.
just Pitt. It's just Pitt. Well, you know what? I bet Ohio State. I'll bet Georgia. I'll bet LSU the week they played Florida. I bet there's a lot of teams that wish they'd have just slipped by as opposed to getting beat. Like, I bet all those teams I just listed will be pretty psyched up to play bad and get away with a victory.
Look, you have to understand, and I know the people listening they're gonna be like, yeah, whatever, you don't know what you're talking about. It's just Pitt. You're right. It's just Pitt. It's just 85 kids who got a Division I football offer for a scholarship or to play at Pitt. It's just kids that, a handful of kids that play for Pitt that are going to go on to the NFL and play in the NFL. It's just Pitt. Mm-hmm. It's just a Division I college football team that at any time can show up and play like a Division I football team.
And it's just 18 to 22-year-old kids who may or may not have had something wrong with their girlfriend or had an exam and had to stay up late if they decided to go to class and they're not at Florida State.
Get out of here with that. It's just this team.
Yeah.
It's just this team. When you go into a week and you're like, it's just Pitt, we should just steamroll them. You end up winning 14-13.
Yep, you're exactly right. Man, we're so angry.
I'm fired up, man.
I tell you what, I've had all three of the emotions like going into this show because thanks to Allison Kirkpatrick, she's got all the feels going on her page. She's got some Remember the Titans Friday Night Lights stuff because it's senior week. And then I found the most hilarious thing ever. I posted it on the page. You have to check it out later. It's the locker room of the team that loses during these epic movies like Angels in the Outfield and stuff. So I'm laughing there, and now we're just angry. We're just angry at people. I think this is why we can't watch games places. Like I shouldn't even probably say this, but it's like this is why I'm not at Dempsey's every single week.
This is why I can't be around people.
Yeah, this is why we don't like people. We have the opportunity to jump up in the stands quite a bit. You notice we stay on the sideline, right?
Yeah,
we love you guys. We're sorry.
It's just like I had to tell my wife the other night.
Easy now, careful.
I know. Everybody thinks they know everything.
Yep, that's a fact. Especially our wives.
Yeah.
They very well may.
Look, I never said my wife doesn't know everything.
It's true.
I'm just saying.
That she thinks she knows everything.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, it's a little after 5, so we'll give Coach a call back after my computer has some sort of sound. Amateur hour yet again. Let's see what else we have to get to. Yeah, we could probably talk a little bit of that after we get Coach's call done. Mrs. Lupton says hi, by the way.
Hey.
Please don't tell people our sponsor we work for food, by the way. Be great. And future sponsors, because I bet if you did, DirecTV would be calling us tomorrow. Like, hey.
Yeah.
So we hear you'll work for peanut butter cookies. No, that's great.
All I'm going to say is that I love peanut butter cookies.
Especially double peanut butter.
Especially peanut butter cookies with peanut butter on the inside.
With
of
a
them.
drum full of peanut butter
Yeah.
on the inside.
And I had them hidden in my truck.
I know you did. I was like, where did them things go?
And we were coming home from jiu-jitsu yesterday, and my daughters were like, "You have peanut butter cookies in your truck?" And I was like,
Nope, they're poisoned.
I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, do you want one? And my youngest daughter was like, I don't like peanut butter cookies. I was like, just eat one. She ate it, and she was like, can I have another one?
Oh, of course. Of
Yeah.
course.
I was like, yeah, they're good.
That was it. What was funny, Miss Lupton says, hey, I'll bring the best cake you'll ever have on Friday.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, this is awesome.
Yeah, this is great. Again, don't tell our sponsors we work for food. I will say that if you go to Dempsey's, which all of you should be going for us, all the stuff we've done for you, at least drop into our sponsor, mention our name, tell them how awesome we do. Have the Ginther, man. The Ginther is something else. Everything at Dempsey's is locally grown, local meats. Everything's local. And that's why they don't have a whole lot of like bar type food. Like they don't have wings there. It's just too hard to do those with as small as the place is. But check it out. Check it out for us. Tell Mark how great we are. Even if you don't think so, tell him how great.
Just lie.
Just lie.
Just lie.
And say you should pay them double.
Triple.
And not pay them in food.
Yeah.
I gotta fix my microphone here. This is a mess. I blame the cat mostly. I was gonna go live with the cat in here. Actually, I was gonna see if I could do this show on my own again. All right, we'll get Coach called back. That's what everybody cares about.
Just call Coach already.
Yeah, I'm surprised I haven't seen that on here yet.
Hello?
Hey, Coach, you're live with us on the East of the Bend podcast. How's it going, man?
Good. How you guys doing?
Doing good. Man, does it feel any different? You're on the East of the Bend podcast and not on your show this time. You haven't been here since the first time we talked to you. So I'm sure it feels wonderful.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Thanks, man, for giving us some time again this weekend.
Of course.
This season we've kind of taken a look at, some various things and operations and just how things go in the program and some ins and outs. And, of course, I had to steal something from the Brian Kelly radio show for this question.
Mm-hmm.
But this season during the Brian Kelly radio show, they've been bringing in guys that equipment managers and guys that really make the program tick. And without them, you can't really get those things done. Would you like to recognize some of your equipment team and just how do they put that operation together and get the stuff to the stadium to make game day work?
Yeah, we've got a lot of guys that help out. And I'll say in addition, John Gilbert is a huge part of what we do behind the scenes. He's been around for quite a while. I don't know the number of years, but just does an excellent job getting everything situated, the pads, trailer loaded to bring all of our equipment to and from games, I should say. Then we have a lot of the kids help out with all that stuff. The coaches do their part in assisting with it. But, John Gilbert is the head of that crew and does an amazing job. Brad had helped out for a while. Due to some health issues, he has not been able to help us as of recent. But in the beginning of the season, just did a great job for us as well. And we get a lot of help from our camera crew. The guys that help out with film, Barry Winters, Mr. Clark, and Mr. Metzel, they do a great job as well in assisting, setting up the camera crews and unloading equipment as well.
Very cool. Thank you, Coach. I appreciate that. This is the final kind of regular weekly show before we do the finale next week. And I appreciate all that information because, if not just Newark Catholic, because it is such a historic program, but it's always very cool to, if it was any school, to hear the operations and just kind of the guts that make it go. It's not just, hey, let's show up on Friday night and play under the lights. It's quite a bit that goes into that.
Yes, it is. Yeah, logistically, there's a lot that happens, and I'm very fortunate to have a lot of people assist in that process.
And your amazing social media team, the East of the Bend podcast, right? They do a wonderful.
Of course. You guys are right there with me, no question.
Oh, Coach. So, unfortunately, tough loss, 24-20 on Friday night. Get into the game here. First drive goes for a touchdown, and where this kind of question comes from is, to me, I thought the whole drive, the guy seemed maybe just a half a step behind all the plays that were positive. And what really reinforced that was the final touchdown catch in the end zone where, if your defender is maybe a half step closer, he disengages the guy from the ball. But it's still a big hit, but unfortunately the guy holds on. What was Heath doing to make that so effective and kind of, if I'm not right here, be one step ahead of your guys' defense?
Yeah, I tell you, we big part for us defensively is we've been coming out a step slow. I feel like in a lot of different ways. Haven't found the reason of why yet. There always needs to be a higher sense of urgency once you take that field. We've got to understand the importance of that so we're not falling behind there. But again, that all falls back to practice mentality. Those are the small things. But defensively, I think the biggest thing for us, especially looking back at Friday night here, is understanding the importance of one-on-one matchups. And I think that's a big reason and why I love this game of football is because, yes, it is a team sport and everything that you're doing, but the importance of winning one-on-one matchups and that individual, competition that occurs on every single play and how that plays a part into the team concept and into this team game. I think that's what makes it so special. And those are some areas that we are not as successful in on Friday night on the defensive side of the ball. So I know I kind of got away a little bit from that, but those are just some small things that we've got to have a higher sense of urgency on.
When you guys took the field on offense, did you for your first drive, you guys you really started throwing the ball down the field? Was that due to them scoring, or do you guys script plays, or did you just say, hey, we're going to come out and throw?
We do. We planned that due to some of the coverage stuff that they were doing and some things that we thought might be open. We wanted to come out strong and make a statement with our passing game. And again, just to maximize some of our strengths and where we thought we might have some advantages and take advantage of some of their coverage stuff that they were doing.
Now, Coach, first, opening quarter there, both teams kind of trade turnovers, but I would like to think that you agree that, the Grant Myers turnover was a little more impactful in that interception he came up with. Can you talk about the impact that had on the game and talk about just that run back? I mean, he had to make a couple guys miss. It wasn't a clean pick six.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, the nice thing about that is we had a couple pressures that we brought into this game, which we hadn't done the past couple weeks. Due to that pressure, we obviously forced the quarterback, to make a little bit quicker decision, and Grant did a good job. It's a one high pressure that we brought, so it's a man-free concept essentially, and did a good job staying in the middle of the field. And based on where we were at, more inside, backed up in the red zone there, he knew he didn't have to get as much depth, yet he could break on those balls a little bit quicker if everybody else did their job. And they did, which put him in a position to be successful to make that pick. And again, it was a very aggressive run back, which is what you love. We knew that we'd have some opportunities with the ball being thrown in the air, especially that first half, and we capitalized on a great opportunity.
Yeah, he made some nice moves to finish that run off. That's for
yes,
sure.
He did.
It was impressive.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I got that on video. Unfortunately, I wasn't moving the camera fast enough to get his actual interception. But his run back I got on video, and I'm going to cut that for him. I think he'll like that.
Yeah, he did a great job. We got some guys downfield block for him, but we were very confident we'd have some opportunities with the ball in the air to make some of those plays. And again, everybody else did their job, which gave him the opportunity to make that play.
Is that one of those plays where you're sitting there and you're watching film with the boys and you just look at them and you say, look, this is what happens when all 11 you are on the same page?
Oh, you're exactly right. And we had some other opportunities where we made similar points, on the offensive and defense side of the ball. You're exactly right, Will.
So there was a play where you guys you threw a swing pass to Mikey, and I can't remember the.
It was Heath. Remember Heath threw the swing pass?
Oh, the swing pass.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Where they threw a swing pass, and then they called unsportsmanlike conduct on Mikey. Did they tell you what it was?
Yeah, it was illegal contact to the neck. I'll be honest, that was a new one for me personally, but it was called. We got to deal with it and move on.
Illegal contact to the neck.
That's
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I
It's
do know.
A little different, but hey, I'm not going to fault. You can't put a finger in any one direction. It was called. We've got to move on, and can't do it.
Yep.
Lesson learned.
Yeah, it seems like it's one of those penalties where you're like, okay, that's a new one. I get it, safety, everything like that, but interesting.
Yep. And you don't have to respond to this at all. Just stay silent, Coach. There's a reason these guys aren't in the NFL or college. Okay, we're done. We're good.
Moving on.
Moving on. Looked like, Coach, that the sweep game was giving your defense some issues in the first half. Was that kind of a breakdown with outside contain, or was there another factor that was allowing those big plays with the sweep?
Yes, it was. We got a little lost with our reads and keys based on the misdirection, the reverses that they were creating. We would get our eyes lost in the backfield, which enabled them to reach us in a couple different positions, which opened up some of those big plays. So again, it's just playing disciplined football, sound football, and executing that 111 responsibility.
Yeah, it looked like you guys offensively were a bit more balanced than you guys have been pretty much all season. And you guys look like you really got your running game going. Was there a key to the rushing success?
No, there wasn't anything in particular. We really tried to hone in. And again, I know it sounds like a broken record at times, but really just this past week hone in on our fundamentals and techniques and, really practicing the different types of looks that we were confident we were going to see based on, the formations that we ran last Friday. I was very happy with our offense and what they did at every position. I think our offensive line did a great job. Our wide receivers did a great job. Quarterback, tight ends. We improved on Friday from an offensive standpoint. Again, obviously we got to clean up, the interceptions and fumbles and stuff like that. And there's a lot of things that we can build off of, which is very, very important, because we've got another week to get better to get us going into the off season. Right. Unfortunately for the seniors, it's not enough to get them into the postseason, but what they can do for this program moving into the postseason with a win this upcoming Friday is going to be huge and very important to their legacy.
And Coach, you mentioned turnovers there, and right before half, you had a kind of a drive going, but Lucas throws the ball up, and we only got to see the play once, just live. Was this just Lucas just trying to make a play, and did he have as much room to run after you viewed the tape as we thought he did, or did he see something in front of him where he felt like he couldn't run?
Yeah, I think he just wanted to make a play, and I can never, fault the player for trying to do that. You know what I mean? He just wanted to be aggressive, go for a big play opportunity. That's one thing we did discuss briefly is just, hey, make sure you take advantage of the athletic ability that you do have and the open space that you had. Knowing we could probably get out, we still have one timeout. So, it's just some situational football that was a teaching moment for everybody.
Now, Lucas had that big run. It was like 40 yards, 38 yards, something like that.
It's a great run.
And he housed it for a touchdown. Do you ever look back and just, or with players like Lucas, who have the talent and everything like that and can be a difference maker, do you ever just look at him and be like, hey, look, just plant your foot and go. If it's there, just take off and run. Make a play that way.
Yeah, well, and I think, it's not just Lucas, it's everybody, right? Anybody that is able to get the ball in their hands. We have to have the expectation to score every single play. That's the sense of urgency that we have to have. That's the mindset that you have to have, is that any play at any given time can go the distance, no matter who's getting the ball. One guy misses a play or breaks a tackle. One cut, one extra block, that's the sense of urgency that we have to have. And, again, what the plays that we had this past Friday are a great building block for that. We did have some big and explosive plays due to guys stepping up at the right time and coming together. It wasn't just any one person. It was the entire team. It was 11 guys doing their job. We didn't do well enough, to put up enough points there. Obviously, things we got to clean up on the defensive side of the football, but the expectation is to score on every single play, and everybody doing their job, because it's one cut, it's one block, it's that one guy sticking his foot in the ground, breaking a tackle that could go the distance.
Yeah, you guys came out and you scored on your first drive after halftime. How big was that? And then I believe that was the play Grant caught that bomb
touchdown,
and the end zone, which I'm not even gonna lie, I was standing right there, and that ref, I was kind of surprised he called it a touchdown, because it absolutely was a touchdown. But I just always think they err on the side of, well, I don't know. But I even told the ref, I was like, hey man, that was a great call. But trying to get some points. But,
of course, we got to sell those plays every single time. But yeah, I mean, it was obviously a huge play. Confidence, momentum, getting everything on our side. Again, very well executed by everybody. Everybody doing their job.
Yeah, Coach, and speaking about the second half here, it looked like Heath came out and they kind of started to play a little more power in the second half and a little more straight I formation kind of stuff. Was that something you guys expected for them to switch up to more of a power game in the second half?
It's something they had shown on film weeks prior, that's for sure, really throughout the course of the whole season. So we did expect it. We actually expected a little bit sooner, but that's where I was talking a little bit earlier here, that, a big part of their success, and I give them all the credit in the world there, is, we weren't winning those one-on-one battles. When you get into that type of a football game where it's, ISO, lead plays, trap, that's just man-to-man football. Win your battles, go make a play. It's downhill right at you, and we weren't winning those battles, and that's where we've got to have a little more confidence in what we're doing, play with, really rely on our fundamentals and techniques, and just everybody flying around, having better pursuit, more aggression on our movements that we were doing. We were bringing some blitzes and understanding the importance from playing on their side of the line of scrimmage. It's just all 11 guys having to do their job, and we were losing some one-on-one battles in there.
So you were talking about everyone making a play. Your guys' final drive, Mikey got a handoff. I believe it was a handoff, and he made a cut and got around into open space, and he took it like 60 yards or something like that, down to like the 7 or something like that. Do you ever just look at people and be like, hey, run faster, Mikey, just run faster.
Just run faster.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
But anyways.
Yeah, it would have been nice to score, but I was very proud of, again, the O-line execution, and the cut Mikey did make, and his ability to hit the line there. But again, that was just a great example of everybody doing their job. Of course, definitely wanted to score, as opposed to getting tackled. That's always the point. Again, the expectation is to score on every single play. But, again, we've got to make sure we are executing regardless of what the scenario is. It's unfortunate that we did have that botch snap right there, but again, fundamentals and techniques, those are things that can't be issues. And again, those are teaching moments that we have to build on.
So speaking of that botch snap, you guys, you lose the ball. There's like 5 minutes to go. They're on their 5-yard line, something like that. What was the key to them just being able to run the clock out at that point?
Yeah, again, that's they were just winning those one-on-one matchups. There was nothing fancy about what they were doing. Like I said, there was some trap plays in there, ISO, lead zone. They'd kind of come around with that sweep every once in a while, but that was pretty much their offense. And starts up front, our front 7 right there, and making sure then our back end is filling in on run support with some of those plays, but they were winning the one-on-one matchups. And again, that comes down to fundamentals, techniques, get off. That's just physical football right there, and we've got to do a better job of executing up front in those situations.
So, Coach, 4th loss by 7 points or less this season, and despite the result, what do you take away from those kind of games? And overall, what do you take away from that?
Yeah, I tell you, the overall energy I felt was much better, something we can build on, something that we had lost there, midway through that season. So that's something we can build off of. I think offensively, I was very proud of how we handled our running game and our passing game, our pass protection, all things that we can build off of. From a defensive perspective, the learning opportunity there is just to understand how important those one-on-one matchups are. You've got to have the confidence and the trust in your entire team to do your job and to execute that role. Something that we can build off of right there. And then in the special teams game, there was some opportunities that we had where we could have done a better job, and the importance of just that one block, stuff that we were just talking about earlier, what that one block can do, or that one cut to get a blocked punt. It's just the small things, the attention to detail that you have to have with this game in order to be successful. Those are all things that we're going to take away, that we did take away watching film on Saturday, and that we will build off of going into Monday.
So you said something about more energy from the players. One thing I noticed, and maybe it's just I finally was there at the right time, but before the game, you guys came out, did your warm-ups, and then the kids went back into the locker room, and you guys kind of stood outside. And you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but you let them turn the music on and just kind of be themselves. And Greg and I were in there to witness it, and it seemed like a completely different team. Like they were more fired up, and they were ready to go, a little bit looser. Is that something that you might look to do more of, or is it just, I don't get to see it all the time?
Yeah, no, I will. Yeah, I'll definitely answer that. It's one of those things. We want them to be themselves all the time, right? That's important. I myself, my coaching staff here, we don't mind, what the kids are listening to. We just ask that each and every player respect everybody else, right? So, if we are blaring music, it better be music that everybody can prepare for, right? That helps them. If it's music that not everybody can prepare for, hey, put your headphones on and do your own thing, right? You're a screamer and yeller, great. Just scream and yell in your head, right? And don't disrupt everybody else. So we want to be respectful of each and every player within the team to prepare how they need to prepare and go through that, meditation process, that visualization process, so that's one thing that we've always preached. I think the one thing we made an emphasis as well, though, is that we just need more enthusiasm overall, right? We need more excitement on the sidelines. Everybody has a role in this team, whether you are a starter, whether you are a scout team member that gives a look every single game, and if you're a guy that's not a starter, your role is to cheer. To get hyped up on the sidelines, when guys are coming off the field after making a big play, right there surrounding them to cheer them up. That is their role. And in turn, when those younger guys, get the opportunity to be a part of the varsity and playing in those games, the expectation is for the new younger guys to carry on that role. So everybody has a job, and a big emphasis for us going into this game was make sure we bring some more energy. The game's just more fun. When you have that excitement level there on the sidelines.
I'm not even going to lie. They were listening to some music that I thought was surprising because it's music that I listened to when I was in high school.
You mean even if the music was
5 years ago?
Even if the music was something that came out before they were born, right?
Yeah, right. And so just let them know that I appreciate that. So that was very nice.
We've given them a hard time, though, with that music. I'll tell you what, I'm not going to mention any artists per se, but there are certain music they listen to that I refuse to allow them to listen to because I can't stand it. So that might be the one area where I do interject a little bit. But
did Father Aiello just come out there?
Common ground there between.
I think Daddy Aiello just came out right there. I heard it. Yeah. Coming from the guy who tells me I'm not much of a music guy. I do Sinatra before games.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Man, you're a tough sell, Coach.
Yeah.
So, Coach, on to Northridge this week. It's senior week, last week of the season. They're coming in at 3-6, wins over Lakewood, Heath, Utica. Winners of 2 straight, though. And what I found interesting is they really seem to be turning it on in the second half. In fact, they've outscored their last 2 opponents in the second half, 34-0. They were up 15 or down 15-6 at halftime of Heath. They win 21-15. Then last week they were up 27-21 against Utica and ended up winning. I believe it was 45 or 48-27.
Yes.
And they run the triple option. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, wing T.
Wing T
is
okay.
what they run. Yep.
Okay. Did you guys spend any time outside of this week on that offense, because it is relatively unique? I know, kind of speaking, going to always a Notre Dame reference in there, but Coach Kelly, he likes to spend, even if it's 15 minutes of every practice on the, practice against triple option wing tee, because it is pretty unique. Do you do anything like that outside of this week?
We have not, where we're at right now, we need to focus all of our energy on our upcoming opponent every single week, right? We can't afford to look ahead. Now, fortunately, we've got a little bit of experience, going against wing tee with Maysville there. It's a different style of wing tee, the way Maysville runs it, but there are some similar concepts that we can carry over from that first week. So, the biggest thing that with that, and again, they have been, Northridge has been doing a great job. They run that wing tee very well, their style of the wing tee, and they got a nice little passing attack off of it, when you start to suck up in the back end there. So I know they were able to get a lot of big plays, off of that against Utica there. So something we've got to be disciplined with. But yeah, we're going to carry over some of our concepts that we were running against Maysville. That's going to help us out a lot in some of those base teachings there. And then have a few wrinkles in there, obviously, to keep them off balance with what they're doing.
When you look at their defense, is there anything that stands out to you or anything that they do that you have to change, or are they running something similar to a lot of the other schools?
There are some things that can carry over that we can use from an offensive standpoint, that where we can create some consistency in our game plan there. But, they've got a stout front. I tell you, the entire LCL, now that I've been a part of this here for almost a year now, right, working into the 10th week, very sound football, very, very disciplined football all around. And that's Northridge included. They do a good job in the back end. They got a front seven there that play some disciplined football, good get-offs. You get downhill very well, more of a too-high look. Which is a little bit different based on the past couple weeks. I mean, again, some of those teams would run some similar concepts, but they're more of a traditionally too high team there. But yes, there are some concepts that we can carry over.
Well, Coach, looks like back to their offensive side of the ball, they got a quarterback, Dylan Parman, who's rushed for over 800, and then this Cole Fox rushed for 237 just last week. Are these shifty guys, or are they just kind of big downhill runners? What kind of running back or backs are we kind of looking at here?
Yeah, so they've got the quarterback is he's a very talented young man. They got kind of a wing type guy, a tailback, and more of a fullback, I guess is how you could look at it. We've got them listed as some other things, but they have a dimension there between the three of them where they've got a little bit more of a quicker, athletic, great and open space guy. They've got a couple guys that are a little bit more downhill, physical, in your face. So they offer a nice balance between the three of them.
Now, Coach, you mentioned they do kind of catch teams off guard with the pass. Is that something? Are we talking like 10 to 12 passes, or is this like Navy, Army? You might get 4 or 5, but when they are, you need to kind of have your ears perked up when it does come.
Yeah, that's a good question. I would like to know the answer to that too.
We're on it.
That would definitely help us out for
We're on
Friday if they could tell us how many times they pass. But no, they're definitely much more of a run team. Where I get my hesitation there is they open it up a lot more. Against Utica, in that second half. So we'll see how they come out. Based on. The success that Heath had, I would expect a little bit more of the run game focus with what they're doing. It kind of aligns with their strengths, and we're going to have to prove we can stop it, and that's going to start with how we approach our practice on Monday through Thursday and get that stuff taken care of and cleaned up.
I guess I should have simplified my question. When they throw, is it a surprise? That should have been my question. So.
I mean, they what they do a great job of, it's off of their play action, right? So they counter a lot of, their buck sweep stuff and their boot stuff, their drop back game. They built that all into their passing attack, right? They mirror one another. So I shouldn't say it's a surprise. It complements one another.
Mm-hmm. So what do you do as a coach and as a former DB to get people ready for play action? Because if you peer in the backfield as a DB and you bite on that play action, your guy's running wide open. So what do you do as a coach to tell them, like, hey, don't worry about it, or how do you approach it?
Yeah, reads and keys are huge. But as you mentioned, based on play action stuff, there's a lot of things as you look into the backfield that are mirrored and look the same. The biggest thing is that you, within your sight line to the backfield, you got to be able to see, high hat, low hat, very small fundamental things, of the offensive line. And especially with play action and boot stuff, it's okay. Hey, is the offensive line firing off the ball or not, right? If they're firing off the ball, hey, we know it's a run. They're not firing off the ball. It's got to be a pass, right? Or else it's an illegal man downfield. So, within your reads and keys of reading 3 to 2, 2 to 3, whatever it may be, you got to be able to have that sight line through the offensive line to identify some of those small reads.
Yeah, I would have to say, especially this week, when everything in these wing T and veers and triple options, they all look the same. And then the next thing you know, it's like, hey, they haven't thrown for a quarter and a half, but they just had a 45-yard touchdown pass. So I would imagine.
Well, and this is, responsibility football. Wing T, triple option, that's what it all is. It is doing your job, being disciplined with it for 4 quarters, because that's what those teams look for. The second you are undisciplined, you're not taking the proper read steps, which is a huge part of, Will, your question that you just asked, and getting those read steps in to identify whether it's run or pass. That's what they're looking for. They got to coach up in the box. Hey, this guy just made some false steps there. He's creeping in the box. Hey, maybe we should try that play action right now over the top of him. That's what they're looking for, and that's where we need to be disciplined.
Mm-hmm. Well, Coach, we'll get you out of here on this one. It's going to be the shortest question of the show, but probably, the most depth to it is just how important is this week to you guys?
Yeah, it's very important. It's obviously, huge for the seniors, first and foremost. I obviously want to send those guys out on a winning note. But it also is very big for our program and making sure we have some success, entering the off season here and getting some momentum from that standpoint. So, our preparation won't change. We're going to attack this thing with everything we've got, as we have the past 9 weeks prior to this one, so we're not going to change our routine, make sure we honor our seniors. That's going to be a big part of this, probably the newest addition. And making a huge focal point on those guys and making sure we play for those seniors. But as we have every other week, we're going to approach this thing with everything we got.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Coach, definitely another winnable game for you guys. I think that you got the right game plan. It's just like you said, just keep building that consistency. Now, do you have anything special this week lined up for the seniors at all?
Yeah, we've got a couple things. Obviously we'll give them the opportunity to speak to the team later on in the week. There's some interaction that we have with our cheerleaders. They do a great job of interacting with our players and helping out whenever they can. So we've got a little gift exchange with them later on in the week as well. And then obviously, recognizing those seniors prior to the start of the game on Friday.
Very good, Coach. Well, we appreciate your time as always, and I'll definitely be giving you a final call on Wednesday. I swear that at some point in December, I'll probably be calling you and be like, so what you doing?
Yeah.
I'm not going to know what to do without a Wednesday and Sunday. Getting out of that routine.
I'm the same way.
Coach Aiello is going to be like, thank God he ain't calling right now. Good.
Greg's going to get a text message from me in January, be like, hey, do you think he still likes us?
Yeah, are we still? I think we're still friends. So, hey, Coach, any word on next Sunday at all? What the plan is?
Yeah, we again, I'm not sure about the meeting, but yeah, that 4:00 should work out very well.
Would you be there by 4 or at 5?
I let me double check with my AD there. I got to see how long those meetings typically take, but I would assume that 4:00, me being there at 4:00 should work. I can't imagine it going any longer than a couple hours there.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and announce for those that are listening and those that are going to be listening to the recording later. Next week, we're going to be on location at Virtues Golf Course. That's the old Longburger Golf Course for the Ryan Aiello post-game show, the finale of the season. Please come out. They're anticipating, I told them, around 30 to 40. Let's make 50 for a good show for everybody. Parents, fans, just general high school football fans. We're going to set up. I promise everybody will be able to hear online this time. I'm not that stupid, I promise, to make the same mistakes twice.
Yeah.
This is really big for us, and Coach, we very much appreciate that, and your wife and stepdaughter are very much invited to come out. They have great food.
Yeah, thank you.
So what we'll do is we'll tell them, I'll go up there and set up about 3 o'clock. We'll tell them 4 is when we'll start. But after 2 o'clock, they said I have free reign of the place. So if we get started at 4:30, if we get started at 5, it's fine.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
just to let you
Awesome.
know. But
Yeah, this is awesome that they're helping us out with this. It'll be good to get together with everybody.
absolutely, Coach. And thank you again, Coach, for all your time. And I'll definitely talk to you Wednesday. And one more question. I got to get an East of the Bend question in real quick.
Yeah.
How far do you think Ohio State should have fell in the polls? They dropped to 11. What's your opinion?
Yeah, that was a tough game for Ohio State, that's for sure. Well done. I'd say that freshman for Purdue. He is he's going to be a lot of fun to watch in the NFL here. In another year or two. I would suspect, knowing that they still got some big opportunities against Michigan State. Michigan. The rest of the season here. I don't know. I would say 12 lowest. You know what I mean? I don't think you can penalize them too much there. Just again with what they have remaining, what they've already accomplished here. So I would say 12.
Tell Coach what your theory was about going on the road against somebody who has an illness real quick.
Yeah, if you're Ohio State or any major program, do not go on the road in the middle of the season to a school that has somebody dying from some crazy disease because you're going to lose.
Because Jesus is going to step in.
Because Jesus is going to step in.
Tell you, I was able to see that interview. That's a very strong-willed young man right there.
Oh, absolutely.
Obviously, thinking about him and just feel for anyone going through that type of adversity in your life. It really brings a whole new perspective on where we are and what we're doing, and just some things that we need to be thankful for.
Definitely makes the game seem a little more insignificant. That's for sure.
Definitely, yeah.
I guess if you got to lose one, you'll take either to them with what that gentleman has going on, or to Iowa. You just take it.
Yeah,
because the new tradition at Iowa with the Wave and the Children's Hospital. Honestly, I'm an Iowa fan. If they're not playing Notre Dame, I love it. I think that's there's all kinds of traditions. There's the Play Like a Champion Today sign. There's the walks. There's all the various signs and the Inner Sandman stuff at Virginia Tech. But to have some tradition with meaning, I think is really powerful stuff.
Oh, yeah. And what that does for, those kids and families going through, something like that, just that one moment alone, just gives those individuals so much strength. You know what I mean? And such a positive outlook on anything that they're going through at that particular time. So it's a tremendous tradition that they've got there. And again, it really does just kind of gets you to step out of your current situation to really reflect on what you truly do have, and that's, again, it was pretty cool that young man was able to get some attention, and you can tell he's just got a great outlook on life.
Very much so. We'll appreciate your time again, Coach, and we'll talk Wednesday. And then definitely we'll look forward for you to being on set, man. You've done almost 10 shows with us, and we've never seen your mug in here. So, and I promise it's as haphazard as it sounds. I assure you.
Well, hey guys, again, appreciate everything that you do, and following us at Newark Catholic here. This has been awesome. So,
and we do appreciate still got your surprise in order for it's very simple. I might be making too much of it, but we have some.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm kind of freaked out about what this might be.
Don't be.
Don't be. It's super simple, but 60-second drive. I hope everybody tunes in because I came up with something, and I think
you had me stumped there. On Friday. Again, I had to think about.
I was about to call your.
I was at.
I was about to call your wife.
Pretty boring person outside of the out of football season.
Could you imagine a 60-second drive turn into a 10-minute drive? Because I call his wife and I say, "Hey, talk to him real quick.
Yeah.
Tell her what you like to do outside of football."
Hey, Coach. One thing. Last thing.
She would probably just say football.
Yeah. Last thing, Coach. This surprise that Greg has for you. Even if you don't like it, just act surprised and be happy, okay?
Not a problem.
All right, Coach. You have a good rest of your weekend, sir. Thank you again.
Yeah, you as well, guys. Hey, thanks for everything.
Bye. All right, guys, that's Week 9 Ryan Aiello post-game show. So, you got to see the inner workings of negotiating a site for a live show. That is news to us as much as it is to everybody else and him. So we're going to be doing, again, it's Virtues Golf Course. It's like a mile from where I'm at. It's in Panther territory, unfortunately, but Lomberger Golf Course, former Lomberger Golf Course. It's the Overlook Restaurant. Like, share, everything. I'm going to get a hold of their manager in just a little bit. They're going to create an event page. Let's overdo it. Like I said, he's anticipating 30 to 40. That's why they're putting us in the lower half down there. If you've ever been there before, it's really nice, really well put together place. And actually, for about a month or so, every time I go up there, because I eat out far too much, I try to eat healthy though. But as evidenced by wings and fries after the game.
Yeah.
Friday. Yeah.
Hey, you ready to go out to eat? Well, yeah, where are we going? I don't know, some place that's only going to serve us pizza and stuff that's fried.
You find me somewhere else that's open in Heath on a Friday night.
Man, I'm not from around
Exactly. You shut your mouth.
Yeah.
So, but I've had this vision of like what it would look like to have a bunch of people there and have a show out and about. And Will's really drove the force on this because I was kind of like, maybe we just won't do it. And he's really into it. So he's really into something, the broadcasting part of it, not just taking pictures. Then, man, I got to do it.
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity. I have faith that the parents are going to come out. I would even say bring the players out.
Yeah.
Please bring them out as long as you want them to come. That's fine. It's going to be a good atmosphere. Just a good time. Maybe if the players come out, maybe we get them up here and they can talk into the microphone a bit too.
Yeah, I'm sure they can handle it better than I can. Oh, I disconnected at the wrong time. Sorry about that. Loud pop. My bad. It's amateur hour. I told him it was as haphazard as it looks and sounds. Oh, man. So, it's been a long season. Not exactly how we thought it would go, especially with how Maysville started. We've said that a couple times, I know, but I'm confident this week. I am. I think they can bounce back. They had a lot of success playing against the triple option. It's not the first time they've seen it. Northridge isn't that good, honestly. Like, we can say things like that. They're on a little bit of a streak here. They've had some success, but I like the Waves' chances this week. What do you think?
Yeah, I do too. I think if we could get Al Bundy to come out, he's scoring 4 touchdowns. But no, for real.
What about Uncle Rico?
Yeah, Uncle Rico.
I'm gonna put a helmet on Allison. She's on everything right now. You're gonna get a helmet, and Liam's out this week, so I'm gonna take Liam out. His mom's gonna play. The fire.
Yeah.
No, you looked at me like, is he really out?
Yeah, I did. You said that, and I'm like, wait,
Liam Kirkpatrick.
Like, is this breaking news?
Liam Kirkpatrick is not out this week. Not out. All right, good. Continue. Go.
But I do. I think they have a really good chance. You put in the notes here, and you said it to Coach. Like, outside of one game or 2 games, everything has been by 7. And that's big. Like, that's something to build off of. It's not the season that we all wanted. We all undefeated is what we're always looking for. But I wouldn't change it.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back at it now, if I had the opportunity not to do this, I'm not saying no to that. If anything, I'm putting more time in because these kids have been great. Coaches have been great. The fans have been great. Outside of every now and then when you have a fan, I'm going to say this, and I don't care if I piss somebody off, but every now and then you get a jackass fan who looks at you and be like, put the camera down. It's only high school football. You know what? I'm going to shut my mouth right now because I might.
I'm not, because actually 2 things with that. I'm glad you mentioned that as I try to spill something down here. I'm glad you mentioned that because, one, that lets me know I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
Because as I told you, Colin Cowherd always says it. Whatever you think about him and his opinion, he's very successful. And he's always said it's not about the people that like you and support you. That's great. And you need those, obviously. But the people that care enough to ridicule and care enough to and still listen and still look at you and have the passion to say stuff like that, that's when you know you're doing a good job. And number 2, I'm just petty enough, and we have just enough GoPros and just enough more money to be able to get more GoPros. I'll put one on every single player. You know what?
I mean, I've got nothing better to spend my money on, and I know you're successful in your career, and my wife and I were successful in our career.
Statement.
I can look at my bank account and be like, oh, you think this camera's not good enough? Okay. I got cash. I'll go buy another camera. I'll go buy a bigger camera.
I got Allison Hayes' number on standby.
Yeah,
from ABC 57. We can
I'm-
make this happen.
I'm sorry, and I'll be the first to say it, that if the coaching staff or the fans or the players think that us being here has changed the game and not been good for
a distraction.
been a distraction. Yeah, and that's why they're losing. Hey, you know what? If that's how you truly feel, I'm perfectly okay with that. I don't want to not do this. I don't want to go to another school. I like this school, but I will if you think it's a distraction. And then I know it's that saying, it only takes one person to ruin it, and it's not. It's not. I can deal with the one person here and there who's just like, man, you guys are blowing this out of proportion. It's just high school football. Put the camera down. Whatever. Move on.
Hey, I'd like to tell some of these senior parents that it's just high school football. I'd like to see somebody do that.
I know. I'm like, it's just high school football. That's why,
But that's the problem.
That's why an entire news station does a whole thing, Friday Night Football.
Exactly.
It's just high school football. That's why there's stadiums in Texas that are $12 million, that they're better than some Division III colleges. It's just high school football. You know what? It's just high school football. That's why you've got country singers writing songs about high school football. High school football is bigger than you think.
Kenny Chesney, Old Blue Chair. He'll also write you a song about an old blue chair.
I know. And you know what's crazy is I just heard that song
Did
the
you
other
really?
day, and I was like, man, I'm cutting video, and I heard this song, and I'm like, I'm looking for a name for this video that I'm cutting, and I'm like, man, what am I going to call it? I still don't know if I'm going to run with that, but I'm not going to call it Old Blue Chair.
I know
I'm
that.
not, but like Last Days, whatever.
Yeah,
going into the last
he's got several. Talk about, you think that me and Will can't give up high school football?
I never played high school football
or high school sports.
High school football. Yeah.
High school sports or high school in general. Listen to any Kenny Chesney song ever.
Yeah,
and that dude's probably just in high school somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, and to be honest with you, I'll make the statement. This guy's gonna say, oh, it's just high school football. You know what? I'm gonna say, oh, it's just college football. Oh, it's just NFL football.
Mm-hmm. Just move him to running back. Just
do that.
It's just Pitt.
It's just Pitt. It's just Purdue.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm sorry that this kind of got derailed and I went off on this. So I apologize, parents, for it. It really irked me when I heard that on Friday.
Oh, me too.
And it's
but like
Sunday.
I said, I'm just petty enough to take it to another level.
I know. But like I said, parents, I know. I'm pretty sure I know what you guys are gonna say. If you feel like we're a distraction and we're costing the team, by no means will you hurt our feelings.
No.
And we don't want you to be perceived that way. We want to give you guys a better in-depth look at your kids, because it's just high school football and it's just memories that one day, 20 years from now, you're going to look back at a picture, you're going to look back at a Facebook post, a video or something, and you're going to be like, man, do you remember? It was just high school football.
Yeah,
and how great it was.
Mm-hmm. And 16 other schools in Ohio have no problem with a little company called Storied Rivals, and that's the last plug I'll give to that. But it's true. I mean, and that is the vision of me and Will. Is when this started, this was just like, hey, let's do some updates. Let's do Coach's Show.
It was just a podcast.
Just a podcast.
sorry.
It was just a second podcast, which was just a lot.
Yeah.
But our vision was to just to do this post game show, and Will's taken up this photography bit and gotten quite good, as you can see, and we thought, we'll supply some pictures. And then I got to thinking about it, and with the visions that him and I have, it's like we wanted to provide the Newark Catholic experience. And we're able to do that because if you look at any other company that does what we do, it's very scattered. It's nice, it's well done, but it's very scattered. And we're bringing you the Newark Catholic experience. And, I think even this week you'll see even more things. And, if we're fortunate enough to come back next year, then we'll build on even that. And we have some big plans. We won't announce now because why now? Like you will all wait in anticipation. But yeah, so we're trying to bring you the best we can. And like Will said, it's memories, man. It really is, and it lasts forever. I was talking online here with Allison and a few other moms about, they're really busted up about this week, and this is it. This is they started in 5th grade. Some of these kids together, And it's going to finish on Friday night. But you know what? It's never going to go away, because I could call my mom right now, and I can guarantee you we can have a conversation about any one game that I played. And I was very fortunate and talented enough. I'm not tooting my own horn, but I was talented enough to start all 4 years. And I can pick out any one game, and we can have a conversation about it like it was 2 weeks ago. We don't have the video. We have a few pictures. We have some VHS tapes, though.
Oh, that hurts.
Doesn't it? That hurt my kidney a little bit.
I think I might have 8-track tapes.
Your first game was the first game.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that kind of stuff, it's out there for you. And, it is, old school before the iPod. It is how you remember, just your memories. You have it because of your memories. But, we're trying to provide something more. And that's what we're giving you guys. So, man, this all started out by one guy telling us to turn the effing camera off.
I know. And yeah. I just, looking back, I want to come back next year, and I'm all in. I don't care.
We're all in.
I don't care if Greg's like, yeah, I can't do this, whatever, or whatever. I'm in. Until you guys tell me to go away. I want to be there. I never really knew. I didn't grow up in Ohio. I mean, I guess I kind of grew up in Ohio. I went to high school in Gahanna, but I never really knew about Newark Catholic, and I've heard things about it recently because I work with people who went to Newark Catholic and people who live in Newark, and being here for the last 8 weeks has been great, and I want to dive in more next year and give you guys more videos, a deeper look inside, so you can see it. And
yeah, we're going to look into some weekly highlight reels next year. That is one thing I know off the top of my head. We have some other bigger ideas. That's no secret. The highlight reels are coming. It's just going to get bigger if we're able to come back next year. And, I guess the best thing to say to that is apologies to these seniors and these senior parents, because
I know
you're just kind of getting the base bottom,
I know,
rung of the ladder, and I'm sorry.
That's all I can say is to the seniors and to the senior parents is I'm sorry I didn't give you enough.
So let's put it this way. We'll put a bow on this real quick. It's basically, and real quick, Jerry Kirkpatrick, because my meds have far ran off, but he said if VHS, you can watch Michigan's last national championship game.
Shared national championship.
Shared national championship. Remember it. But yeah, just to kind of put a bow on this, and our little bit of apology that we're kind of giving you here, because it is just going to get bigger if we're able to come back next year, and especially the next year. I can't imagine 2 years from now. But week one when we went to Maysville, we were really nervous about walking even through the gate. We actually paid for our own tickets. And
which we have no problem paying for.
We have no problem paying for tickets. That's no problem.
Yeah.
I like supporting the game, and I know all these schools put that stuff back into their funds and this and that. But and if we have to, that's fine. But they told us just to say we're media, and we are. But we were nervous about walking through the gate. We paid for our own tickets, and then Will's like, "Do you think if I was sit down in the end zone and take a few pictures during warm-ups, that's okay?" Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Take a chance. And you looked at me like, I'm pushing boundaries tonight.
Yeah.
Which led to running on the field by this week to get some touchdown reactions, to me catching Coach at halftime for halftime interviews. And, I love sideline reporting. I think it's great. Some people think it's worthless. I love it. And Coach has given me that opportunity, and NC's given us a great opportunity to do the things we love and give us a platform. And for those of you that don't know, I mean, I don't mind saying it, and I don't think she would care to know. Obviously, one of my heroes is Allison Hayes in the broadcasting business, and she's allowed me to send her anything that I want for her to critique. And I might have said that on another show, but I don't have that platform without Newark Catholic to be able to cut pregame previews and cut halftime interviews, which are amazingly difficult sometimes. And that one Friday night in the pouring down rain, and at a game that Newark Catholic should have won, and I got to catch Coach all angry and upset. That's not necessarily the funnest thing in the world, but it helps me grow and helps me build on that. And I can't just go in the backyard and fake something like that.
Yeah.
So we've been given a real great opportunity, and we're grateful. And
I can't say it enough. Like you guys keep saying, Coach keeps saying, all the parents keep saying, thank you so much, but I can't thank you guys enough, because where I was 8 weeks ago to where, or 9 weeks ago to
living
where,
out of a dumpster.
yeah, I know,
eating
right?
a half a banana.
Yeah, that was rotten.
Yeah,
No,
rotten.
but where
We're just glad you found your pants.
yeah, right. But where I was and where I'm at now, and what I've gotten to see and to be a part of, if I never get to do it again, I can't say thank you enough. You guys have completely accepted us, completely supported us, given us access that isn't just given out.
No, not at all.
And I mean, we've been to practices.
I'm allowed to use the bathroom in the locker room at halftime.
Yeah, I know. Like, I can't say thank you enough, and it's worth more than anything. You could sit here and say, "Oh yeah, we're gonna cut you a check," and that would be great. But it's not as great as this experience, and
for sure. And getting to live out some of the things that we've always wanted to do, like you with the photography and not being in front of the camera, and me in front of the camera.
Yeah.
So those are experiences that we'll never forget, and we appreciate it, and we thank you so much for everything. And we'll definitely, I'm sure we'll have to go right back over this next Sunday at Virtue's Golf Course. Remember, at Virtue's Golf Course, Overlook Restaurant. It's hard to get used to. It used to be the Lomberger Restaurant and Lomberger Golf Course, but if you guys pass that around, I'm going to create an event page here in just a little bit. I'm also going to get a hold of the owner of the or the manager or whatever he is, as I'm trying to cut this music here. Oh,
the person who he needs to talk to.
Yeah, the person I need to talk to that runs the golf course. He's going to create an event page. Look out for it. Like it, share it, the whole bit. Remember, go to Dempsey's, 346 South High Street in Columbus. It's free parking, food and drink specials all evening. Mound Street Garage is free parking. You do have to get a ticket when you go through the gate, and they give you vouchers with your receipt. And then every receipt is a raffle ticket for next year's Notre Dame USC game. So please get down and check out our sponsor. Even if you're a Buckeye fan or whatever fan you are of anything, check it out. Next week, I know Ohio State's on a bye week. Might be a good week to get down. Notre Dame plays Navy at 8 o'clock. So, yeah, big week next week. One podcast, the Ryan Aiello postgame show season finale. Please check out 60 Second Drive on Friday. Let's see. Game is Friday night, 7 o'clock. We will be there early. We're going to be catching coverage of the walk again.
Yeah. I might be there at 3:30.
I might stay the night Thursday night.
Yeah, right?
In the parking lot.
Yeah.
We're going to interview some parents. I know Angie Pierce and Allison Kirkpatrick. I'm sorry. I'm looking at Mark Fitzpatrick. Lots of Patricks. I know Allison and Jerry, you guys have agreed to an interview. A lot of the parents aren't into this whole thing, and I get it. So if I only get 2, that's great. I'm going to try JT's dad.
Oh, I love JT's dad.
Yeah, his dad and mom, I think they'll be down for it.
Yeah.
So, and I know Mrs. Lupton said she'd just bring us egg rolls. No interview. Just egg rolls.
Well, she's giving us cake.
Yeah,
so, I mean, if she doesn't want to interview, I will fight you to make sure she doesn't interview, as long as I'm getting cake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So 7 o'clock, Northridge, senior night, Friday night. Get out and support these guys. Next Sunday, Ryan Aiello post-game show, season finale. Let's call it 4 o'clock for now. And then Coach might be a little late, and then you can listen to us talk about something or other. So
yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry if you got to listen to us talk.
Yep. So until next time, go Irish, go Wave.